Aidan Lancaster sat in silence, the glass of untouched whiskey in his hand trembling slightly as a cold breeze passed through the half-open balcony doors. The skyline of Sterling City shimmered beyond the windows, but he felt nothing. No joy, no pride, not even the dull ache of loneliness that had become his daily companion. Only the weight of memories. Memories he would give anything to forget. He had once believed love could change someone. He had believed that in saving Ilara Hale, he would also save himself. She had been the kind of girl whose silence said more than her words. Eyes, always searching, never settling. He met her during a volunteer mentorship program at the university, where he'd been donating. She was one of the brightest students, top of her class, majoring in bioengineering and working 2 part-time jobs while caring for her terminally ill mother. Aidan was mesmerized by her strength. She never asked for help, not even when her mother collapsed from another seizure. He had been the one who insisted she accept a private doctor. Then came the groceries, the rent, and eventually, a sleek downtown apartment. He even paid the tuition she'd nearly dropped out over. And she let him. She never said she loved him, not directly, but she let him hold her. She let him buy her diamonds. She'll let him dream. He had been ready to propose, but that was before the accident. That night, he'd been driving back from the jeweler as her ring in the glove box. When the crash happened, a drunk driver ran a red light. Aidan barely survived, paralyzed from the waist down, tubes in his throat, machines keeping him alive, but his mind wide awake when she walked into the room. He remembers the sound of her heels on the tile, remembers her perfume, and her voice. "You shouldn't have lived," she had whispered, tears in her eyes, "but not the kind that came from love. I was going to leave you. I was finally free." Then she reached down and pulled the oxygen tube from his mouth. He didn't die. A nurse walked in seconds later. Ilara vanished, but life gave him a strange, cruel gift. He awoke weeks later in his younger body. 2 years earlier. Was it a coma dream? A time loop? A second chance? He didn't know, but he was determined not to make the same mistake twice. This time, he wouldn't beg for her love. He would win it. He found her again, exactly where he remembered. Working late in the campus library, he saw the shadows under her eyes, the stress. He offered her coffee, then a ride, then help. But this time, he kept his distance. No lavish gifts, no promises, just presence. Still, emotions crept in. He told himself he just wanted to make her fall in love with him honestly. He failed, because when he finally confessed, after months of restraint, of quiet dinners, of subtle kindness, she looked up at him and said, "I'm sorry. There's someone else." Makoto Ren, son of a politician, rich, handsome, charismatic, dangerous. Aidan knew what Makoto was. A player with a habit of turning women into dares. But Ilara didn't believe him. So Aidan walked away. For good? That was the first twist. The second came from Isla. She'd always been around, the quiet friend in the background of his childhood. She worked at a community hospital now, soft-spoken and warm. When he broke down after Ilara's rejection, it was Isla who found him on the rooftop, fingers trembling over a letter he never mailed. "I know what unrequited love feels like," she said. "I've lived it since I was 13. He looked at her, really looked at her, and saw the truth he'd ignored. Azala had always been there, so he let her in. But fate wasn't done yet. Months later, he and Isla were invited to a charity gala. Aidan had just officially launched a scholarship fund. In Ilara's name, it was meant to be a quiet tribute to the girl who had nearly destroyed him. But Ilara showed up. With Makoto, she wore diamonds now, and a dress worth more than Isla's yearly salary. but her eyes were hollow, and she watched Aiden all night. He didn't approach her. Isla kept his hand in hers. They laughed together, kissed once, softly. Aiden thought the moment was finally behind him. Then came the news. Alara's mother had died, alone, in a public hospital, uninsured. Makoto hadn't told her. He hadn't even let her leave his vacation house in Provence when she received the call. Aiden found out from a nurse who had worked with Isla, so he reached out. He met Alara in a cafe days later. She was thinner, paler, shaking. "You let me drown," she said quietly. "You never asked me to throw you a rope," he replied. They talked. Hours passed. Old wounds reopened. Aiden thought it was closure, but it was a trap. Weeks later, Alara accused Isla of sabotage. She claimed Isla had interfered with her mother's care, that she'd falsified discharged papers. An investigation began. Aiden was furious. He confronted Alara, who admitted through tears, "I just wanted you to hurt. I wanted you to feel what I felt." Makoto had left her, taken her money, told her it had all been a game, even shown her the group chat where his friends placed bets. Alara lost everything. She tried to sue Aiden for emotional damages. Her case was dismissed, but the scandal destroyed her credibility. She was fired from her research position, blacklisted. She spiraled. One night, she showed up at Aiden and Isla's apartment, soaked in rain, holding a knife. "I just wanted you to love me the way she does," she screamed. Aiden disarmed her. Isla stayed calm, offering her a towel. Alara collapsed, sobbing. Instead of pressing charges, they paid for her rehab. She disappeared after that. 2 years passed. Aiden and Isla married. They bought a home by the sea. He named his new foundation after Isla's late brother, a medic who died in service. But sometimes Aiden still dreams of Alara, not as she was at the end, but as she had been when they first met. Alone, brilliant, broken. One winter, a letter arrived in the mail. No return address. Just a single note. "I found peace, finally. I'm helping people now. I hope you're happy. You were always better than I deserved." No signature. Just the smell of jasmine on the paper, her perfume. And Aiden, holding the note with Isla asleep beside him, whispered a silent goodbye to a chapter he had never fully closed.